pull the trigger yet.
So you've been trying to sell this property on your own for 2 months now, right?
Seems like 2 years, but yeah.
I'm sure.
I think that's probably right.
Have you gotten the information I sent you over the last few months?
Yeah, actually, I have.
Tell me about the traffic, because, I mean, obviously you've been trying to sell this property on your own for 2 months. I mean, what type of traffic are you getting? Are you doing open houses? What's your marketing plan? What have you been doing to push this property?
Oh, I've done some advertising in the paper and just a sign in the front yard and tell people when I see them that I have a house for sale. I mean, I get some. I mean, you get people calling, but typically it's people that want to lowball me or, you know, it just doesn't work out, or I'll schedule a showing and they don't show up, or, you know, just normal crap.
So why are you wanting to sell this property?
It's an investment property that I've had for a couple of years, and it's just more trouble than it's worth, really, and I'm just ready to get out of that game.
Well, it sounds like it. So this is an investment property?
Yes, it is.
So you don't live there?
I do not live there, no.
Do you own this thing free and clear, if you don't mind me asking?
I do not.
You don't? So this thing's just sitting there eating a hole in your pocket?
Yeah, you could say that.
Do you have any tenants in there at all, or?
No, they moved out right before I started trying to sell it. They had messed the place up pretty good. I'm sure you know how tenants are, and that was just kind of the final straw, and they moved out, and I got it fixed back up, and I'm ready to unload it.
So why are you still trying to sell this property on your own? I mean, if you're sitting there making the payment on it, I mean, obviously, I mean, you've been doing it for a while, I mean, and it's not working. I mean, how long are you going to continue this?
Well, I don't really have a plan. I'm not too well off in the property, and I'm just trying to avoid paying any commission on it.
Last time I spoke with you, you said you were going to pay the 3% co-op if I brought you the buyer.
And I would. I just, there's another 3% there that I'd like to hang on to if I could.
Okay. Can I be direct with you, Leroy?
Please.
You've had this property on the market for 2 months. The average days on the market in that subdivision somewhere between 2 and 3 months, right?
Okay.
And that's when it's listed with the real estate agent. You know, you can sell it on your own. Obviously, you know, you've been in the real estate business for the last few months. You understand how difficult it is. I mean, it's a tough business to get the property sold. Let's just say that your mortgage payment, and I'm not going to ask you to say, but I mean, let's say it's $1,500 a month. I mean, it's already cost you $3,000 just sitting there eating at your pocket. I mean, at some point, it's got to make sense to hire a professional to unload this thing for you.
Well, what is it that a professional is going to do that I can't do by myself?
A lot. The reason it's so hard to sell a property on your own for sell by owner is because it is free for a buyer to work with the realtor. It doesn't cost them anything, so all the qualified buyers are working with realtors.
I see.
And so if you're trying to sell it on your own, you're trying to backdoor the whole process, and you're trying to – I understand. I mean, I respect the fact you're trying to save 3%. I don't blame you, but at some point – it's got to make sense to explore other options, because if this thing sits on the market another 3 months, then that's what, $9,000 that you just threw in the wind whenever you were better off to list it in the first place.
So you just think there's no way I'm going to sell it without a realtor?
I think that your chances are slim because you haven't sold it yet. It's been on the market for 2 months. Again, I respect the fact that you try to sell it on your own. I mean, I don't blame you, but at some point you've got to explore other options, and I'm just being direct with you. I mean, because if it hasn't sold yet and the market's not getting any better, what do you think's going to happen in the next 2 months besides you losing another $3,000?
Well, everybody says that the market picks up in the springtime, so I really just kind of hoping that's the case. But you know, it is. It's a real. I mean, you're right. It's a pain. It's been sitting there, and I haven't been able to do anything with it so far. So I don't know why I would think I could in the near future. But
let's go back to that. What you just said. You just said that the spring is the best time to sell, pretty much.
Well, that's what I understand. I'm not a realtor.
I do not disagree with you that there are more buyers in the spring. I'm not saying you're wrong. But here's what I am going to say is you and every other seller in the country says the same thing. Every seller thinks the same thing, that, well, spring's a busy time, so that's when, you know, I'll put it on the market, or that's when it'll sell. What happens when everybody thinks that is the market becomes flooded in the spring. Your competition will double in 2 months. You see what I'm saying?
Houses for sale?
Houses for sale will double in the spring because everybody's waiting for the spring. Supply and demand. There's going to be too much supply out there. There's going to be way too many houses. The market's going to become flooded. The buyers are going to be able to write you lowball offers because there's so many houses that somebody's going to take it. You're going to be in a bad situation if you try to sell this property on your own until spring and then list it with an agent. So to answer your question, what we do differently, did you get, I know you've probably been inundated with mail, but did you get the 89-point marketing plan that I sent you?
I'm sure I did. You just hit the nail on the head. I've got so much stuff from realtors, although it's kind of gone away here, or getting slower, but I've just seen too much. I mean, that would be my next question is I don't even know who's right and who's wrong. It seems like everybody's got their opinion on what I should do.
Do you have very many people sending you information now? I mean, probably not since you've been on the market for 2 months.
No, it's kind of slowed down quite a bit.
Okay. But here's what I'm going to do, because I'm going to try to help you out. And honestly, Lee, I turn down more business than I take. I turn down more listings than I take. If I can't help you out, I will not take your house as a listing just to take it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a market evaluation on the property. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to see what's going on, see where you're priced at, see how bad it potentially is. And I'd like to come out and take a look at the property. I'd like to come out and take a look at it, sit down with you, go over the market evaluation, go over my 89-point marketing plan, and go over my easy exit listing agreement. And I just want to show you what your options are, because at this point, I think you should be exploring other options, quite honestly.
Well, all right. I guess it won't hurt to talk about it. I am. You're right. I'm ready to do something with it. So why don't you just email me that stuff?
Well, I can't. I need to come look at the property. I need to look at it. And I'd like to get face to face with you. I need to look at the property. Yeah, I need to be there.
Okay. How long will all this take?
I don't know. Depending how much you like me, I guess.
All right.
A little 30 minutes.
Okay.
You said I could be direct with you. I'm just saying it is in your best interest to sit down with me for 30 minutes at this point. How long can you sit there and write that mortgage payment? I mean, I can help you out.
All right.
At least I'm going to see if I can.
30 minutes. I appreciate you being direct. I'll give you 30 minutes. Here's what I don't want to happen. Don't try to tell me a lot of stuff that you can do or that my house is going to sell for X if it's not. You shoot me straight.
Like I said, I turn down more listings than I take.
All right.
I'm what you're looking for. I can promise you. I'm going to be direct with you. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And either at the end of that meeting, we're either going to do business or we're not. Okay, let me ask you something. What is today? Today is Thursday. Are you going to be around there tomorrow?
Tomorrow afternoon I can be over there.
What time? What time's good for you?
About 3 o'clock.
I've got a 1 o'clock. It's probably going to push me. Can we do 3:30?
Yeah, we can do 3:30. I can't start much later than that though.
That's fine. Let's do 3:30. And what I'll do is I'll bring the market evaluation and bring everything that I need to bring to show you what we can do to help you out. Now let me ask you something, Leroy. When I sit down with you, you like everything that I have to say. You think that my marketing plan will get the job done. You love my easy exit listing agreement. And you think I can get you a good price for the property and get you out of the mess that we're in. Is there any reason why I could not earn your business tomorrow at 3:30?
Assuming all of those things are true, that you can help me with all of this, what you're saying makes sense, and I believe that what you have to offer is going to be worth 3% of better than what I'm doing, then no, we can do business tomorrow.
Perfect.
If not, then we can't.
Does your wife need to be there?
No, it's not necessary.
Okay. I have you down for tomorrow for 3:30, and I look forward to meeting you and taking a look at the property.
Okay. Well, thanks for the call. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Leroy. Take care.
This call is a prime example of why it's paramount to build a relationship with the for sale owner. I mean, my goal in prospecting for sale owners is to simply be the last one that's in contact with them when they decide to throw in the towel. I mean, I couldn't think of a better example of this. Leroy's been on the market for 8 weeks. Every single week he's either gotten a letter, a phone call, or a voicemail from me. And here we are 2 months later, and I'm the last real estate agent that's in contact with him and ended up getting this listing appointment. And it's no surprise. So I want to dissect this call and figure out why I went for the appointment on this one and not the calls before. The first thing I wanted to know is I wanted to know what type of traffic he's getting in the property. Wanted to know what he's doing to market it. Turns out that he's putting ads in the paper and he has a sign in the front yard. Like that's going to help him sell the property. So continually digging, I wanted to know more about it. It turns out that this home is an investment property, has no tenants in it. He has a mortgage on it. When I found out that it's an investment property with a mortgage and it's vacant, I knew I found his pain. So I wanted to go for the kill. I wanted to keep pounding the pain, reinforcing that he needs to explore other options before this whole thing gets messier than it already is. I wanted to take control, so I said, can I be direct with you, Leroy? This is where I went for the appointment. I said, you've been on the market for 2 months. The average days on the market with a real estate agent is 2 to 3 months. Let's just assume that the mortgage is $1,500 a month. That's $3,000 that you just wasted. Let's say you wait another 3 months. I mean, that's even more money. And all I'm doing here is I'm getting him to realize that what he's doing isn't working. And doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is insanity. So I'm trying to convince him that I am the solution to his problem, because Leroy has a big problem. And I want to just be the solution and go in there and get this property sold to solve the problem. And I kept reinforcing my marketing arsenal. I was talking about my 89-point marketing plan, separating my marketing from his marketing. And I wanted to take this appointment away from him when it came time to set it, because it was clear to me that Leroy was a dominant personality who did not want his time wasted. So I told him, Leroy, I turn down more listings than I take. People want what they can't have. I'm not going to waste his time. If I can't help him, I'm not going to take this listing. And it just kind of broke his defense barrier at that point. So I offered him a market evaluation to set the appointment and kept reinforcing the marketing arsenal. And then at the end, he said, well, can you just email this stuff to me? And I just continued to remain in control. And he didn't want his time to be wasted, and it was clear. So I was just pretty direct with him and just mirrored his personality. And at the end, I pre-qualified the appointment, asked him if I come out there and he loves everything about me, is there any reason I can't earn his business? Which in case he said that I could earn his business. So I'm going to go out here. I'm going to meet with Leroy, because we have got to get this property sold like yesterday, and I'm going to do my best.
Hi, is Marcus there?
Yes, who is this?
This is Hoss Pratt with Keller Williams Realty. How are you today, Marcus?
I'm doing good.
Good. Hey, your property on Linwood Drive, are you still selling that property for sale by owner?
Yes, we're still trying to sell it.
You are. Perfect. Okay. Let me ask you, if I brought you a qualified buyer, are you willing to pay a 3% co-op?
Sure. If you have a qualified buyer that's buying my property, yeah, we can pay you the commission.
Okay. How long are you going to try to sell this property on your own before you decide to explore other options? I know you've been trying to sell it on your own, it looks like, for probably a month. I know I've been in touch with you for the last month. How much longer are you going to go before you decide to explore other options?
Maybe for another 2 months. I mean, we're getting some traction, but maybe another 2 months.
Okay. Now, in that 2 months, if you did decide to explore other options, do you have a close friend or family member that you would feel obligated to list with, or would you be up for interviewing some aggressive agents?
You know, we know somebody that we probably would talk to, but no, we're not obligated at this point to list with him.
Okay. Now, did you get the letters I've sent you?
You know, I really don't know. We get so many mailings these days that I can't tell you I actually paid attention to any of the letters you sent me.
Okay. Now, you're asking $630,000 for the property, right?
That is correct.
And you've been trying to sell it on your own for a month. Are you getting some traffic through there?
You know, we got some buyers that cancel once in a while, but we have taken some buyers through it, but no offers yet.
Okay. Now, why are you selling the property for sale by owner?
What do you think? I'm trying to save the commission.
Okay. So you're just trying to save, the extra 3%.
Right.
Okay. Why are you selling it?
We just need to upgrade our house. My wife and I are getting another kid, so we're going to be having 3 kids soon, and our house is just too small for 5 in the house. So.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So now on this property, are you going to be relocating here locally?
Yes, I'm moving to a bigger house in Frisco. We already had that area, planned out for us. So. Okay.
And you don't have an agent representing on the buy side either, correct?
No, we don't want to deal with an agent, whether it's on the buy side or the sell side.
Okay. Now, what exactly are you doing to market the property? I mean, if you're getting some traffic through there, I mean, it's a beautiful home. What exactly are you guys doing to market the property right now?
We put it on Craigslist, forsalebyowner.com, and have a sign in the yard, and I think we might even run an ad in Dallas Morning News.
But that's been working for you lately?
Yeah. I mean, we get interest on it. I mean, a lot of realtors are calling, of course. Didn't realize that, but once in a while we get actually buyers that want to buy the home.
It's a competitive market out there, that's for sure. So, okay, so you're going to try to sell this property on your own for another 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to stay in contact with you. I've got all the information. I think you put it on forsalebyowner.com is where I got the pictures and stuff. It's a beautiful home, by the way. But what I'd like to do is I want to stay in contact with you. I'm going to put your property in my database of homes where I match the features of your home with my buyer's criteria. And if I have a match, what I do is, since you're willing to pay the 3% co-op, then I'll give you a call to come by and take a look at it, show the property, and we'll go from there. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. I mean, do you have any buyers right now that can come and look at it?
Yeah, we actually have hundreds of buyers in our database, but it's just a matter of trying to find the properties, because I've got a whole real estate team, and we work hundreds of buyers, and I don't want to just limit my buyers, the home search, just to the properties on MLS. I like to include the properties for sale by owner as well.
Sure, that makes sense.
Okay. Now, I have sent you some information. I know that you've been inundated by agents, and I apologize on behalf of the industry. I know that's how a lot of folks build their business, obviously trying to get your listing. What I'm going to do is I would like to just send you some information. I'll help you out in selling the property, and just be here as a resource guide. I mean, if you have any questions, you can feel free to contact me. If you need any seller's disclosures, whatever, I can get that for you. All I ask is, is whenever you do decide to explore other options, say in a few months, if you haven't sold the property, I would love the opportunity to come out and take a look at it, sit down with you, and do a market evaluation and show you what we can do to help you out at that time.
Okay, that sounds fair.
Is that fair enough?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Okay, and then I'm going to send you some more information. And is there a better phone number to contact you besides this one? I know I've tried to call this one a few times. I haven't, and left you a few messages. I haven't got a return call. But do I just call this phone number? Or is there a better number to call?
No, I want you to call this number.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I sure appreciate it, Marcus. I'll be in contact with you. And again, my name's HOSS Pratt. I'm with Keller Williams Realty.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Marcus is a typical for sale owner. He's been trying to sell the home on his own for the last month. I've been in contact with him every week. I've either sent him a letter, left him a voicemail, tried to get in touch with him, but I've been unsuccessful up until this point. So when I was speaking with him, all I'm doing is just building the relationship with him. I'm trying to weed him out, asking him questions to see what his motivation is. He's clear to me that he's not willing to list the property yet. He's still wanting to continue to try to sell the property on his own for the next couple months. So all I'm doing here is just building a relationship, and when he does decide to explore other options, I want an opportunity to earn his business. So let's get into this call and dissect it and see how I came to this conclusion. The first question I asked if he's still wanting to sell the property for sale by owner, wanted to know if he was willing to pay a 3% co-op. Also asked him how long he's going to try to sell this property on his own before he decides to explore other options, which he said 2 months. So I'm looking that he's going to be listing in the next month or so. I want to know if there's a close friend or family member that he felt obligated to list with if he does decide to explore other options. He actually does know a real estate agent, but he was not obligated to that agent. So what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to find his pain. So I want to know why he's selling this property. Why are you selling for sale by owner? And he said, well, what do you think? I'm trying to save the commission. He actually sounded like a jerk. So I just wanted to keep moving forward, kept asking questions to keep staying in control in this conversation and continually dig deeper. I want to know why he's selling it. He obviously needs to upgrade the home. His wife's pregnant with another kid. So it's important to congratulate him on that. And I wanted to know if he's relocating locally. He is relocating locally, so I wanted to know if he's got an agent that represents him on the buy side. Because if he doesn't, then I want to talk to him about that when I do set the listing appointment. He said that he does not want to use a real estate agent on the buy or sell side. There was a lot of pushback from Marcus, so it was important just to keep pushing and just staying in control and just letting him know that, I'm his friend, I'm his advocate. All I wanted to do is just build a relationship with him. I want to know what he's doing to market the property. He's happy with the traffic. He's doing ads in the paper, FSBO.com, open houses. So it was clear to me that he's not willing to interview real estate agents yet. So I wanted to recap it. So I said, okay, so you're going to try to sell this property on your own for the next 2 months. Do you mind if I stay in contact with you, send you some information to help you out in selling the property? All I wanted to do is just keep my name in front of him. So when he does decide to explore other options, I want to be one of the real estate agents that he talks to. And I wanted to let him know that I'm going to put his property in my database of homes where I'm going to match the criteria of my buyers with the features of his home. Just staying on his side, breaking the defense barrier, asked him if there's a better phone number because I've been in touch with him for the last 4 weeks and he hasn't answered this phone. So I was trying to get either a cell phone number, some sort of better contact information. He was not willing to give it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay in contact with Marcus every week for the next 2 months, and hopefully in the next month he'll end up listing this property, and I'll be up for interviewing for the position. So
Hi, can I speak with Brett?
Oh, yeah, this is Brett.
Hey, Brett, it's HOSS Pratt with Keller Williams Realty. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing okay.
Hey, your property on Safari Drive, have you sold it yet?
No, I'm working on it.
Okay, I noticed you're selling the property for sale by owner. I was wanting to know if you're willing to pay a 3% co-op if I brought you a qualified buyer.
Well, that's why I listed it myself, so I wouldn't have to pay a commission.
I understand, but if I had a buyer who wanted to purchase the property, would you pay 3%?
Yeah, if we added it into the price, sure.
Okay, perfect. Now, how long have you been trying to sell this property?
I think I put that sign up maybe a couple weeks ago.
Okay, and how long are you going to try to sell the property on your own, Brett, before you decide to explore other options?
I don't know. These last 2 open houses didn't go too good. I was trying to go at least a couple more months.
And say in that few months, if you fail to sell the property yourself, do you have a close friend or family member that you feel obligated to list with, or are you going to be interviewing some aggressive agents?
No, I try and stay away from those realtors.
Really? Why is that?
Oh, I had a bad experience with one.
What happened?
Oh, I put this thing on the market it was last year, I think, last summer, and I don't think that person did anything for us.
Really?
Yeah.
So did the listing expire?
On the market. What's that?
Did it expire?
Yeah.
It did?
She wasn't doing anything. I tried to get out of the thing, and she wouldn't. I mean, she told me I signed a contract and never could get a copy of it, but I couldn't get it off the computer or whatever she said, the MSL or something like that.
The MLS?
Oh, yeah, MLS.
Okay, yeah. So, and this is the same property that you have for sale by owner. Was on the market last year, but it expired.
Yeah, it was about 4 months into it when I just finally got frustrated, and so I had to go another 2 months before it expired, and I just kind of let it ride out.
Okay, are you asking $240 for this property now?
Yeah.
Now, when it was on the market last year, what were you asking for it?
Oh, I think we were $275 by the time I paid commissions and all that stuff, and I didn't really have to sell then, so I just wanted to see what the market would do.
So going back to this other agent, like she had it on the market. When she had it on the market, do you remember how many showings you were getting, what the feedback was, or anything like that?
We never heard from anybody. I mean, I don't know what the feedback was. I would have taken care of some stuff if I would have known what the heck they didn't like or whatever, but we probably had like 1 or 2 showings a month.
1 or 2 showings a month?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they said the market conditions were like really bad, and I mean, I've heard some stuff on the news that the bubble or whatever has burst, and so I just figured that's just the way it was.
Okay. So at 1 to 2 showings a month, you didn't hear any feedback from those buyers who came through?
No, maybe one person, but
what did they say?
I don't even remember.
Okay. So she just never communicated with you at all?
No. I mean, she put the sign in the yard, and that was about the last time we saw her.
Really?
Yeah.
And at 4 months, you were trying to take it off the market. But how long was it on the market total?
I think we signed like a 6-month deal with her.
Oh, that's horrible. Okay.
And I mean, she called us all the time to get her to drop our price all the time. But that was about all she ever called us for.
Did you drop the price at all when it was on the market with her?
No, not after 4 months. I was really pretty much just fed up anyway. So I figured if she could sell it for $275, I'd deal with her.
Okay. So why are you selling the property anyway?
Just want to move. Just kind of downsize a little bit and keep our payments under control.
Okay. So you just want to get a smaller property?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here locally?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, my wife's family's here. I probably won't ever get out of here.
I understand that. Okay, so here's what I want to do, because I'm sitting here looking at, obviously you've already had it on the market with an agent. I respect the fact you're trying to sell it on your own, but you've been trying to sell on your own for the last 2 weeks, correct?
Yeah.
Did you get the information that I sent you?
I don't know. My wife might have. What was it?
I actually sent you several letters. I sent you my easy exit listing agreement, which just said you can fire us at any time. My 89-point marketing plan, and also there was the guarantee that we'll sell it in 59 days or we'll sell it for free.
Yeah, my wife probably got that stuff. She knows how I felt about this last realtor, so she probably didn't show it to me.
Let me ask you something, because obviously you're trying to sell this property, and if you don't sell it, you say in the next 2 months, what is your plan?
I don't know. I'll probably start asking some buddies at work or something if they have a realtor that did a little more than our last one did.
Brett, if I could show you how it would make sense, say if I could sit down with you, run the comps, take a look at the market evaluation to see exactly where you're priced at. If I could make it make sense for you, where we could work together and make it to where it's all in your favor, where you can fire me at any time, you love the marketing plan, you think that I can get this job done, and I will also allow you to sell the property yourself while it's listed with me. Is that something that you would at least entertain?
Yeah, if it's kind of what you said and it really spells out that we can cancel it and it really spells out that I can sell it myself, then yeah, I'd listen to you.
Because I'll tell you why I'm bringing this up is because we specialize in working with expired listings and for sale by owners, folks who the property was on the market before, they weren't satisfied with their other agent, the other agent never called, they did, the same old story we hear all the time with expired listings, okay? I understand now you're trying to sell the property for sale by owner, but the good news for you is we built our business model for people like you. When we work together, you can fire us at any time. If you're not happy with our services, you call me, you can fire me, we'll come get our sign and be done with it. There's no contract. I understand, we're in a contract, but I'm not going to hold you to it. I mean, if you don't want to do business with me, then obviously you're not going to refer your friends and family to me anyway. So it doesn't make sense for me to waste my time and money and your time for that matter.
No, I'll listen to you, especially if you got a buyer, then we definitely can talk.
What I'd like to do is I'm going to do a market evaluation on the property and see where you're priced at. And I want to come out, take a look at the property, sit down with you, give you my professional opinion, tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, so we can accomplish the goal of getting this property sold for you.
Yeah, that'd be good. Do that.
And let me ask you one thing, Brett. If I come out there and you love everything that I have to say, you love my 89-point marketing plan, the easy exit listing agreement, my smart seller program, is there any reason why you would not do business with me if it made sense to you?
No, not if it made sense. And like I said, if it's what you're saying, yeah.
When can I sit down with both you and your wife this weekend?
Yeah, we're pretty open all day Sunday.
How about Sunday afternoon after church, say around 2?
Yeah, that'll work.
Sunday at 2. Perfect. I have you down for Sunday at 2, Brett, and I appreciate it, and I'll do my homework in the meantime, and I look forward to meeting both you and your wife.
All right.
Okay?
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, buddy. All right, thanks. Take care. Bye.
I love it when this happens. Brett was on the market with the previous agent, listing expired, and now he's selling the property for sale by owner. He's already committed with an agent before, so now all I have to do is do a good job of separating myself from his previous agent, show him how I'm different, what I can do to get the property sold, and if I'm successful, I'll get the appointment. In this case, I was. So let's break this call down. The first question I asked him if he's willing to pay a 3% co-op. It's the same question I always ask the first conversation. He pushed back. He didn't want to answer it, but I kept moving forward because I'm in control at this point, and I asked him, if I brought you a qualified buyer, would you not be willing to pay a 3% co-op? And just kept asking him. Eventually he said yes, and he agreed. He's been on the market for a couple weeks, and so I wanted to find out how long he's going to try to sell this property on his own before he decides to explore other options. He said a couple months, which tells me he's going to be exploring other options in a month or so. And now what happened is I found his pain because he said that he was listed with another real estate agent. He cannot stand real estate agents. He had a bad experience, and he wanted out of the listing, but the previous agent wouldn't let him out. He was actually on the market at $275,000. Which now it's on the market at $240,000, which I know that there's room there to be able to get this property sold for a fair price. And the previous agent only had 1 to 2 showings a month. And what I did here is I wanted to bring the shock value because I asked him for the feedback, and he said there was no communication. He never got the feedback, and I'm like, wow, are you kidding me? I'm just acting shocked like that was just a bad experience. So I wanted to keep pushing that because that's obviously what I'm going to use to set the listing appointment. He had a 6-month listing. I'm acting compassionate at the same time, but I wanted to find out what his motivation is. Now he's selling the property for sale by owner, so I want to know why he's selling. He's wanting to downsize, and the big aha here is he's wanting smaller payments, which I know he's probably feeling the pinch. So I asked him if he got the information that I sent him. I sent him a couple letters, left him a voicemail, didn't hear back from him, and I'm continually reinforcing my marketing arsenal. I wanted to know what his plan is if he doesn't sell this property in the next 2 months. So I said, in the next 2 months, let's say you do not sell this property, what is your game plan? And I'm just trying to find out his time frame on this call. And he said that he may look for an agent that is better. So once he said this, I knew I could close for the appointment. So I said, if I could show you a way to get your property sold the fastest and for the most amount of money with the least amount of hassle to you, is that something that you would be interested in? And he was, so I wanted to keep pushing this because now I'm wanting to act like I'm specialized in selling properties that failed to sell before. I'm keep reinforcing the pain. I'm talking about, how the last agent never communicated with him. There was no marketing on the property. They didn't get results. We understand that. That's the reason we created the 89-point marketing plan. It's designed to get properties that failed to sell, sold the fastest, most amount of money. And we offer all of our clients an easy exit listing agreement, Brett. If you're not ever satisfied with our services, you can fire me. At this point, it was set up. It was time to take him down, offered the market evaluation, and I just wanted to be direct with him. I wanted to tell him that I turn down more listings than I take. I'm not going to waste his time. If I can't help him, we're going to move on with our lives. So went ahead and pre-qualified the appointment, asked him if he loved everything about me, if I could earn his business, and he did. So I'm going to come out here, I'm going to meet with Brett, and I'm going to get this property sold, and we're going to represent him on the buy side too, and hopefully he becomes a raving fan.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. What do you guys think about HOSS Pratt and FSBO calls? Good stuff? You guys are on mic. You guys can talk. Good stuff? Very good?
Great stuff.
Awesome.
I see where you ripped off all your stuff.
Yeah. So, HOSS Pratt is basically, he's from Kansas City. Obviously, I'm in Wichita. He moved to Dallas, shortly after I got into this game about 5 years ago. HOSS Pratt was somebody that I really emulated when I first really got into the game and started creating scripts and getting unique selling propositions and other stuff. I wanted to play you just a couple of his calls. I dropped, if you guys register on his websites or following him, obviously, like I do, I just have a library of stuff. So I created a folder inside of your guys' Dropbox, and I dropped 10 of those calls in there. We only listened to like, 3 or 4 of them, but I dropped 10 calls in there. And I also dropped the transcripts to those calls so you guys can actually break the call down. Now, he travels around and speaks at a lot of Keller Williams events and obviously sold tons of CDs and tapes. So everybody is calling and they're saying the same shit, right? Everybody's saying the same thing. I got a private message from somebody. I had to pull it back up, and they were saying, well, what happens when you're like the third or fourth person that's calling and asking, hey, if I had a qualified buyer, are you willing to pay 3%? So we had to change the game up a little bit. So about a year and a half ago, even in our own market that we was competing in, I had to change the game because everybody was doing the same stuff, and it's all about differentiating yourself and offering something that nobody else is offering, right? So if you guys also go into your Dropbox, I dropped the FSBO script in there because you guys know we really was working through the accountability sheets, and then they expired, and then kind of role played them. You guys are hearing Danielle convert it, for sale by owners. I did put a script in there. It was actually the wrong script. I put the official one in there, I think yesterday. So go in there and print that one off. That's the actual one that we use. But I want to spend a little bit of time here to talk about the theory with the value or the lead-in question, because I know even some of you guys, I think Jorge's guy had let off, if I had a qualified buyer, are you willing to sell your house? And I even got him to say that he'd bring the buyer with him and all the no-no stuff. And I don't know if he got that from HOSS Pratt or other Keller Williams people or whatever, but everybody is calling and saying this. And this is why in our script, I don't know if you guys have it pulled up, we're basically calling them and adding them into our database. If you notice, HOSS Pratt talks about that, but he talks about it in the middle and not the end. And then he's calling as an actual agent. He's not calling like an ISA or from the resource center. So the conversation is much easier to be had with an ISA, and it's much easier for them to articulate the unique benefit to go into our database, right? Is Danielle unmuted here? Unmute yourself, Danielle.
Yep, I'm here now.
All right, so you are here. Okay, so the question, if you're willing to pay 3%, is still built into our script, but he's willing to see if these people are even willing to co-op. And the reason you need to ask that question is really an equity question, but how we insert our listing questionnaire with the value, like you should already have that information unless they're reluctant to give it to you, and then that's why you want to ask that 3%. So, like, let's role play a little bit, Danielle. I want to hear the beginning part of how we lead in with our for sale by owner script, and then kind of differentiate from Haas Pratt's calls, and go from there.
Okay. So I'm the ISA.
Yep.
Okay. Hello, Adam.
Yep.
Hi, my name is Danielle. I'm with Select Homes. I was calling about your home at 123 Smith Lane. Is it still available?
Yep. Just trying to sell the bad boy myself.
Great. The reason I asked is we do have hundreds of qualified buyers in that price range, and we like to explore other options for our buyers, and then properties that are not just listed on MLS. Do I have your permission to add your home to our personal database?
Does this cost me any money? Is it going on MLS? What's the cost?
You know, that's a great question, Adam. It does not cost you any money. But let me ask you this question. If we were to bring you a qualified buyer, would you be willing to pay 3%?
Yeah. I just don't want to pay the 6%
Okay,
right
great.
now.
Let me get some information on your home.
Okay, so pause right there. So if you guys have the script pulled up, it doesn't say insert listing questionnaire. Maybe we can go back and edit that, and it needs to say fill out listing questionnaire. So this is how you're going to be able to collect all the information about their house because they feel like you're adding value. You're doing something for them. Like people don't know how much you know or what you can really do for them until they know how much you really care. And once they see that you're really caring to help them, and maybe you're inserting some marketing questions, like you even heard Haas ask, well, what are you doing to market this property? You know, in today's day and age, you could say, you got it on Craigslist, I got it on forsalebyowner.com, or just kind of really align yourself and be curious about the steps that they're taking in terms of their marketing. And so they're going to look at this as this is just an added value or basically more exposure to get their home in front of pre-approved or qualified buyers. And so at this time, we're going to go through and fill out the listing questionnaire. And we're really going to find out everything about their house. And normally we don't set this until the listing appointment is set with internet leads, really with the expired. And so most of our scripts in theory or practice, this is done at the end. And with the FSBOs, we're leading in and collecting this information up front because they're getting squeezed into a database. Even if you guys don't have a large database or you don't have anything to squeeze them into, it's okay. Like at least like you're still working with buyers. You still have some type of pipeline of people, right? And so it's all about perception and exposure to the actual FSBO itself. So whether you have minimal internet leads or you're like us and you have thousands and thousands and thousands of internet leads, it's okay. You're still going to be able to lead in and collect this information. And then most of you guys have um, looked at our listing questionnaire, and so we really don't need to go through that. But Danielle's going to fill that out at this time, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now the time discovery, all these other questions are questions that you can mix into the conversation as you're filling out the listing questionnaire. It's the same thing with the pre-approval attempt and going through location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage on the internet side. All that stuff needs to be blended and mixed together where it just sounds robotic, like you're just there to try to get information. It's not conversational. It sounds scripted. It sounds in order. It's dry. It's not emotional. It's not connecting with what they're trying to accomplish, and you're not really asking questions in the right order that would carry the conversation to a much deeper level. So also Also, hopefully that addressed your question, Alicia. Like, what if you're the third or fourth person to call them and they're super frustrated with that because every other person is calling to sell them. Like everybody's calling and saying like, hey, if I had a qualified buyer, would you be willing to sell your house? They're like, bring the damn buyer so I can sell it. And everybody's like, well, we need to come look at your property, do a walkthrough, and it's all BS, right? So you need to lead in offering something of value and doing something for them before they'll even listen to you. And I promise you, nobody else is calling them and doing this. Um, there might be a few other people in the country, but for the majority, everybody's doing this same thing that you just heard from Haas Pratt. Now, the structure of the call, some of those questions in that dialogue will help you, but the actual intro needs to be totally different to be able to get a different response. So let's start practicing that. There's devalue marketing questions that you guys can get into when you're filling out the listing questionnaire and really going through the process of filling that information out. And then once you really understand their pleasure or pain points, and we've really talked about those over the last, I don't know, 3 weeks since we've got through the trackers. And this is kind of like why I really don't believe in scripts. And I talk more about the straight line theory and asking questions, and it's all about language and echoing things back to them and resolving pain points or enhancing pleasure points, and making everything optimized to what they're trying to accomplish, not getting to the end of reading a script, right? And so you can see if I could sell it for you and help you fill in the blank, whatever they're trying to accomplish with pleasure and pain. Um, you know, and that's the first option close. You're really going to see some results. And then also there's a second option close that you guys can get into. Getting into the 89-point marketing plan. Our 89-point marketing plan is different than Haas's 89-point marketing plan in terms of actual content in there. And I know Chris and Greg in Green Bay, they went with like a 32-point marketing plan and and talked about their actual points that they offer within the business. So you also can talk about these unique selling propositions if you need to bring them up. Haas Pratt definitely brought them up before they closed. They're at the bottom of the sheet, so you can just talk about them. You guys heard me talk about them, but you need to sell them. Just like with his easy exit listing, he's like, you can fire me at any time. I'll come pick up the signs. You don't need to sign any paperwork. So you have to sell these USPs. It's just like with us with the cancel anytime listing agreement. I always say you can fire us at any time. We'll shake hands, walk away like adults, no strings attached. Now that's definitely fair enough, right? So love this stuff. Got another question here. Let me read this real quick. Are you actually adding these folks, FSBOs, to a database that goes into the buyers, or do you just keep them in the mind if you have a match? Great question, Eric. So every single listing questionnaire that we fill out, you guys have saw them go into a dashboard. So we actually put them into a dashboard, but also more importantly, I want you guys talking about your guys' websites, whether you're using Conversion, Commissions Inc., Boomtown, Real Geeks. I don't care. They're all the same. One's a Buick and one's a Ferrari, right? And everything in between. But you need to be talking about squeezing them in and possibly creating a free account for them and sending them a link. So, yeah, you need to be putting them in some type of base, some type of folder, filing them away, and the chances of them actually getting matched with an actual buyer is slim to none. It's just the value that they think that you're creating for them, because also you can talk about the stats. Like 88% of people that bought a home used the internet, so used an agent and found the home online. So the chances of them actually selling their home to another individual that's unrepresented is 12%. So newspaper, Craigslist, the internet, is where it's at, and most of the people are in databases and being represented or dripped on by an agent. So you need to also let them know you need to opt in, and so I can create a free account for you. And it's more than just an account; it's a communication tool. And every single home that's on MLS is listed on our website, and you can get on here and check. And this is where all of the buyers are at. But I'll have you filed away in our database because I speak with hundreds of buyers and see if I can match a buyer with this specific property. If it's a unique property and you have unique buyers, you might actually have an actual buyer in mind. But if it's just run of the mill, average bread and butter stuff, like they're going to get lost in the shuffle. But the key here is to add value, and you can't convert new FSBOs because they haven't experienced enough pain. So if you're calling a FSBO and it's only been on the market 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, like their pain isn't severe enough, and they're still thinking that they can do this without an agent. So you need to understand why they put it on the market. Is it equity issues, or even in some of HOSS Pratt's calls, they didn't like a realtor, as bad experience, and so it left a bad taste in their mouth. So really discovering the why at its core as quick as possible is necessary. And then this turns into a follow-up game. Like your first call might be squeezing them into the database and getting all that information, and then it turns into a follow-up game. How long are you going to wait before you actually hire an expert? And really figuring out the timing behind that. What are you going to do if your home actually doesn't sell? Do you have a game plan? What are you trying to accomplish with actually getting this home sold? And then just really aligning with their timing, not your timing. And like everybody's calling them when they first hit the market, and they're inundated with calls, just like the statement earlier, your fifth, sixth call. Like in Haas's example, and like even our example, old data is the best because everybody else gave up because they don't understand data management and they don't truly understand the psychology of the for sale by owner. And so, like, what was it on that second month? Like Haas was the only person calling. Like on month 2, Danielle's probably the only person still calling these people, and then we can have optimized conversations. Like I know you was trying to really attempt this in X amount of time, and we already have all your data on your house. It would be at least worth to sit down with one of our expert listing agents to come out, sit down, be honest with you about why we think the home hasn't sold, and be honest with you about what we think we could do to get your home sold the fastest in the fastest amount of time and actually net more money than you could probably get on your own. And if they give me reluctance, then I'm going to talk about our unique selling propositions because that's actually what we're selling is the value for the company. And the best part is there's no obligation. It's risk-free. It'd be worth your best interest to have this information to be able to make an informed, educated decision to be able to net the results that you're looking for. Wouldn't you agree? So anybody have – okay, so Eric's got another question. At what point in the conversation are you trying to add them to Zinc? So Eric, this is like where it's all about answer and ask, acknowledge and ask, right? It depends on how the ebb and flow of the conversation is going and where the value is at. So I'm going to tell them that I'm going to put when they're giving us all the information for the listing questionnaire, that they're going into a dashboard, they're going into a database, right? But then at that same time, I'm also going to talk about the other side of the coin and say, hey, I can collect a little bit of information from you and I can send you a link to show you the front end of this communication tool where we have almost 80, 90,000 buyers in this incubation cell. Is that something that interests you? And it's a free service. We have live customer service available from 8 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night that can help answer questions. We can even do a best fit reverse lookup, put in addresses and see how many best fit buyers we have for that property. And I can definitely just take a little more information from you. I know you gave me all this information about your house. I already have your name and your email address. We hate spam and we follow the rules here. So I'm going to send you this link and you have to click the link to be able to opt into this account. We can put all your notes on your account. You can communicate with the agent. if they're gonna need to purchase within your area, you can set up a showing at any time. We can let you know your credit score for free at any time, debt to income ratio, exact payments on any of the homes you see, because the mortgage calculator on the website isn't taking into account P&I, taxes, insurance, all that stuff. It's actually a pretty cool tool. So it's just whenever it's natural in the conversation. I know you've heard Danielle have these conversations hundreds of times in this last month.
Hey, Adam.
Who's this?
Mark.
Mark Soup.
Benefield.
Soup, buddy.
Okay. There's just a couple of things that I noted from listening to HOSS, and it was the first time I've heard his stuff. Mm-hmm. But, the first thing that struck me was his tonality. Very confident, obviously made calls before, direct to the point. And, a couple of times during his conversation, he'll say, would that be fair? Does that make sense? What I found in dealing with, thousands of buyers, just people in general that are buying stuff, anything, is people just want to be treated fair, and they want to feel like they're not being taken advantage of. And I think you heard that in a couple of the calls. Yep. As the little training thing I did, in the last couple, specifically last week, I talked about selling like a CEO. When you listen to HOSS talk, when you hear him go through and he asks questions, he obviously knows what he's talking about, and he presents it in a fashion that's very matter of fact, very direct, and very to the point. There's no him hawing around. There's no, I want to see if I can sneak in a question. It's, if I can't help you, I'll leave. I don't know how many times I've told people that. Hey, I'll come out. We'll meet for 45 minutes and maybe 15 minutes if you hate me. If you don't, we'll probably go a little bit longer. And at the end of the meeting, we need to make a decision on whether or not, we should, ever see each other again. Very direct, very to the point, much in that CEO kind of realm like I talked about last week. So when you listen to the words that he's saying, listen to how he's saying it too, because it's just as important as what he's saying.
It's actually it's very much important. We talked about this, what was it, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks